Hey, welcome to Eyes Closed with Mallory Knox. I'm here with James and Dave. Thanks for taking the time out of this sunny Camden day.
No worries. At least we're doing it outside.
Yeah.
That makes it all the more better to do.
Get a bit of oxygen in a sense of like the time of the day.
Yeah. At least in the shade, outside be burning.
Yeah.
I don't do
Crisping up like anything right now.
Man,
yeah, I don't do sun well.
I got the worst sunburn of my life at Slam Dunk. So, guys, it's obviously an interesting point in your career at the moment with the departure of Mikey, obviously, previously in the year, and your decision to carry on as a four-piece, which is really cool. And you're obviously very excited to be working on new music. You put out Black Holes, which is an absolute tune. Really loving it. You've already written some songs and recorded some. Do you think that the recent events in your band's biography are going to be reflected in the lyrics in some way?
Sam does the lyrics. He always has done, even when Mikey was in the band. He was the predominant lyric writer. So it's funny, like we don't really ask him what the topic is. Like we sort of let him do his own thing, because it could be embarrassing, even though it's in a song, it could be embarrassing to ask about. But I don't know if it'll be reflected as in like, oh, Mikey, you're a dickhead or whatever. But it'll definitely be like the time, I think, in our lives and what's happening and just the ongoings. And obviously, I think with that being such a major thing in everyone's life, it will be reflected in certain ways, even if it's just about how he felt about it when he was writing a certain song. Like,
yeah, of course.
I think it's impossible not to.
Yeah.
That's what songwriting is about, isn't it? Like writing about the events of your life and stuff.
And that's, I guess that's the powerful thing about music.
Yeah, definitely.
That is the outlet that maybe some things that you go through or emotions that you have are channeled into. Cool. And speaking of instrumentals, I know that previously, I think the way that you guys did it, Sam kind of wrote the songs acoustically, and you guys kind of put it together in full band.
Yeah, he'd always come with an idea on the acoustic, and it's funny because this time round he's saying that it's a lot. The songs always sounded good on acoustic because he'd play, the chords and stuff, and like a song like "Shout at the Moon" sounds great on acoustic.
Yeah.
But a song like "Black Holes," it doesn't really relate well on acoustic.
Yeah.
So it's a real different way we're writing now. He'll still bring like an idea to practice, but it might not necessarily be written on his acoustic, and it might even just be in his head. He'll come to rehearsal, he's done it a few times, and he'll come and say, I've got this riff in my head, I haven't even played it on guitar yet, and then we'll sort of build it that way, which it's cool. It's like a different way to doing it to how we've done it before.
Recently as well, like we'll be sort of, sometimes James will be like messing around with like a riff or something on his guitar that he'll just come up with in there and then, or I'll come up with like a drum beat or something, and then we sort of like jam stuff like that. It's kind of like, I think it's quite old school way of doing it as well most of the time, isn't it? Like you're just sitting there jamming stuff out, and then if it sounds good, then brilliant, then you work on it. But if you're thinking, oh, that's a bit too much this way, then you just sort of scrap it. But we definitely are like quite active when we're at band practice.
We're quite old school in how we do everything, really. Like a lot of bands nowadays will, like, they can write and produce a song on a laptop. It's like we don't do that. We come and we just jam it out and we write together, and it's a really organic and old-fashioned way of doing it, but it's just what works for us, and why change? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, as they say.
I think that's always kind of been the essence of your band, that you're really kind of like back to the roots, and also in your live performances.
Yeah.
You're kind of just raw and just the instruments, no like backing tracks.
Yeah, definitely. We sort of pride ourselves in that as well, so it's cool that you picked that up.
Cool. Sweet. I'm obviously very excited to hear new material. Is there anything that you're really keen to experiment with musically that maybe you haven't been able to on the previous deal?
Yeah, I think this time around we're not afraid to try anything. It's not like we're going to go, oh, let's put a load of synths in. We're not changing like that. It's just there were certain elements that we'd sort of like rein in on the last albums, just because we were maybe a bit too scared at that point in our career to divert too much from what we were known for. Whereas now, because with Mikey going and that, is such a, even though we've still got the name and we're still the same band, we'll still play the same big songs that people know and love. But it's sort of like now we can really push the boat out with I mean, at heart, we are a rock band, regardless of like the more pop and especially in the early days, the more emo influences. We now write riffs and like aggressive melodies, and it's not like shouting and screaming, but it's like we feel like a proper rock band again now, which is cool. So we're not really shying away from that. We're really embracing that this time around. So yeah, it's not necessarily like exploring. We're not going to go crazy, but it's definitely, we're not holding back with the guitars this time, which for me is great. So
yeah, I think you can definitely hear that in Black Holes.
Yeah.
I'm getting a real like Foo Fighters.
Yeah, that's
from
cool.
That song,
we want to be compared to like bands like that instead of back in the day. I mean, we probably were more like the influences were like Blink-182 and like Taking Back Sunday and sort of Fight Star and sort of emo bands at the time. But we're older now, like 9 years older than when we were writing for Signals and Pilot EP. So the influences change a little bit, and I've always said we're going to be one of them bands that sort of grows up with the fans, as opposed to a band that stays the same. You sort of get the new young fans all the time. Like, you lose fans that way, but you also gain new ones, I think. So, yeah.
And so tell me a little bit about your April tour, because that was the first time
Yeah.
you going out as a 4-piece, and also I guess performing Black Holes versus like the older songs. Can you tell me a little bit about how you felt going in and then how it actually was?
When we first went into it, I was quite apprehensive. Because I'll be honest, I thought that a lot of people were going to basically just turn up to the gigs, stand there with their arms crossed, and slag us off on the internet, like when they went home. But I was pleasantly surprised. I know that sounds like really, really harsh, but that was how I felt at the time. Because I was like, you see a lot of people, like obviously with Mikey leaving and stuff like that, you see a lot of people being like, oh, they're not going to be the same. But like, they're correct. We're not going to be the same. We're a completely different band now. So like, you would get a lot of people that would they would turn up, and then you would speak to them after, and they were like, it's amazing, it's brilliant, like it is really good, and it's not like they're standing there shocked that it was like brilliant, do you know what I mean? But a lot of people were saying that like they like also preferred it and stuff like that. So you sort of got a mixed bag.
Yeah, it's sort of like we thought there might be people come and like heckle us, be like, oh, where's Mikey and that, but we didn't get that until it. We found out quite quickly that the people that thought we were dead and didn't give a shit, they just stayed at home and like bitched about us on the internet, which is fine. I get it. It's more like people are going to be upset that he's gone. Like, we were upset. We didn't fucking want it. Do you know what I mean? Like, so everyone was upset. It weren't just us. But I think I do get annoyed on the fucking internet sometimes when you read people saying like, oh, they're dead, they're not saying blah blah, and it's like, you do realise like it was us as well. Like, it's our band. It's like our baby. Do you know what I mean? Like, so we're going to carry on because we want to. He wanted to leave, so he can go and do his thing. Yeah, we're sad about it. You're sad about it as well, but give us a fucking chance. And then if you don't like it, fair enough, because it is different. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you like Shout at the Moon and that is what you wanted again, Black Holes isn't that. So, but it's just, like, I think people are so quick to have a little bitch and a moan that it's, I don't know, you just think like, we do read that shit. We're quite in touch with like that side of things. We do follow that, the comments and stuff, because we do want to know how it's going. You don't want to be turning up to a venue knowing that there's only going to be 5 people there. But yeah, no, going back to the tour, it was great. The shows were all basically sold out. A couple of them did, loads, and everyone was just well into it. So it's great. Like, good for Sam as well, because he's nervous. He's having to step into someone else's shoes. Like, Mikey is and was an amazing singer, and Sam's not the same style singer, and he embraces that. It's like that is another thing. Like, it's our take on the old songs, but it's cool in a way, I think, because it's going back to the guy that actually wrote the songs now. So, if you're actually into the band and the songs as opposed to just being into Mikey, then it's going to be a new experience for people, which is quite cool, actually. It's like, I'm a big Oasis fan, so even though they're not together anymore, Noel Gallagher goes on, he does the own stuff, even though Liam plays the old Oasis songs, but Noel, he plays them, but it's cool to hear them from him because he wrote the songs. So, they're probably better apart because it's cool. You get both takes. Yeah, they can't stand each other, which is a shame. Do one tour if they're watching now. I'll beg them to do one more tour. Go on.
Come on, broskies.
Yeah.
Okay, I got just some really quick ones to wrap up. So you're playing Camden Rocks, obviously. What's your favorite thing to do in Camden?
Favorite thing to do in Camden? What, ever? I think it's
Ever.
Eat, because the food here is crazy,
Obviously,
isn't it?
good answer.
Yeah.
No, definitely. I was going to say
eat. That's us. Eat and drink. Obviously, on days like this, it's great going on the little bars and stuff. Especially when they're doing like Camden Rocks, it's cool. Like people just playing in random places, so you just go have a drink outside and that, go in and watch a band. So yeah, it's a really cool vibe.
I think the craziest thing I've eaten here were like deep fried Oreos or something like that.
yeah. We get battered Mars bars down our way. Ever
Oh
had
yeah,
that?
man, that kind of stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just
Who needs a Mars bar battered?
terrible food.
know
But
what I mean?
like sometimes you don't know you need it until you eat it, you know.
And then you realise that you don't need it ever again.
Or that.
Wake up the next day and your gut is just on fire. You're like, oh, that
maybe
goddamn
not the
Oreo
best
that
day.
I deep fried.
That was fine. Probably have it again in 5 minutes.
It's probably just me. I'm probably just too old.
Or maybe you can answer that about each other. What's your most quoted TV show or movie?
Joe's definitely The Office, isn't it? He is David Brent. That is his big thing. Like his personality and everything, the whole sense of humour. He is dry as hell. Like that is Joe. I don't really think I quote anything. You're a bit RuPaul Drag Race.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, RuPaul Drag is my thing.
He said about, we were talking about the royal wedding the other day and saying about how nice her dress was, and Dave said,
I hated it. It was plain and it wasn't cinched in enough.
I think I don't get that reference because I don't watch it.
I'm sure I've heard someone say it, so I maybe.
cinched in.
It means like tailored.
I thought it was great. So,
I didn't like it.
but he's been watching RuPaul's Drag Race, so he's probably right.
I might be right. I'm usually wrong about a lot of stuff.
What's your biggest travel-related fear? You guys are obviously on the road a lot. What's the kind of thing where you're like, oh no, like something that you create a worst-case scenario?
Flying for me. Flying. I hate flying. Yeah. I'm just so. The thing is, I'd never flown before this band. Like, so 19. I hadn't ever flown anywhere. And then the first flight was to Guernsey. Do you know where that is? It's like just a little hop over to some little. I mean, it's like a 45-minute journey.
You get in the air and then you land again, pretty much, to get to Guernsey.
But then
That's a good start.
But then our second one, which was a week later, was Australia. So I had to get used to it really quickly. But
Bit of a learning curve?
Yeah, I sort of done it with the band, and then I just hate it though now. I don't know, I've just built up this fear about it. You watch movies and stuff, don't you? I feel like I'm only safe if I have Sully driving now. So, and I don't know if he is. Have you ever seen that film, Sully?
You worry about stuff like that. The only thing that, like, sometimes I do get in the van when we're like gigging and stuff, and I think to myself, have I left anything at home, or have I left any? And usually I have left something somewhere, but it's never usually that bad. But I'm just like, for about an hour, I'm going, oh my god, I think I've left like the really important stuff at home, and until I see it, I'm like, oh, thank God for that.
His bloody brain gets left at home, that's what it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've never missed a flight as a band as well. That's quite something. Yeah.
My hand's firmly planted on the wood there, just to make sure of that.
Exactly. Keep it that way. Amazing. Okay, we're gonna wrap up. Sorry about that. Yeah. We're done now. All right. Thank you guys for your time.
No worries. Thank you.
Yeah. Have a great show tonight at the Coco, and enjoy Camden Rocks.
See you soon.
Cool. Thanks.